Incredible. It doesn't even have to be a full talk. Just
okay, I got you.
try to, whisper it in because it's going to pick up your voice really well.
Wonder if we talked less. And then when we sent out that vibration, because, you know, they call this a universe. Uni, they call it a number, so we're not numbers. That's just a thing made up, whatever. And verse is another word for a statement, a line, a song. See, the songs have a verse. So the verse would be then the words that you put to the music. So wonder if we lowered our frequency into the region of the heart and breathing in that life force here we call oxygen, and all comes from ether. Ether is everywhere, permeating. To the level of consciousness, and realize that when you speak, you're creating. You know, you hear people using the F word all the time and then adding to it and that, and it's like, it's such a violent word because it has nothing to do with love and compassion and caring. It's like, what? You know, everything goes better with love. Yeah, cooking, making love, singing, taking care of your children, taking care of your body. I'm not a body, I have a body, a material body in a sense. But I don't think of myself that way. I think of myself as a spiritual being, spirit soul. So the words that we're speaking, because we're all mini gods, not the big deal, of course, God, goddess. I call them male, female, because everything here is gender. That's the seventh step in the Hermetic axioms of the seven, which is explaining, in a sense, this outer reality. And there's the second of the Hermetic axioms called as above, so below. And for me, so you could take it any way, but you don't say as below, so above. That's a whole different ballgame, because that's not true. As above is the absolute, if we think about that. And here is the land of relativity. Okay? So when we go to, you might say, our heart, because we don't live in the mind, we use the mind and the brain. And they were designed originally to reflect the spiritual world for those individuals or living entities who somehow desired a material experience. And to make it more emotional and real would shut down our knowledge of who we are. So we could pretend that we are these bodies. To experience as much what we should call pain and pleasure available in this realm. So we have to we're not the pain or pleasure, and we're not the body, and we're not the material world. And neither is Mother Earth, or how we call it Gaia Sophia. She's a living being, because we are. We animate dull matter. That's our nature. And we do that through our consciousness. So when we are thinking and speaking, praying, asking, whatever it may be, yelling, cursing, whatever it may be, those sound vibrations are going to manifest in your reality as to how they appear in that experience. Now, once you get an experience, what do you need to have it again for? You know what it is. But you know what? Have you ever heard the thing that rats are more intelligent than people? some say they make nice pets, but well, whatever. Everything's, it's probably true. That there's, what would you call it, good and evil possibilities for all living entities, because this is called duality. D-U-E-L, dual, fighting, conflict, positive, negative, and it's the male and the female aspects, because all is gender, operating in this realm as electrical charges on a battery, you might say, positive, negative, and all that sort of thing. So what we want to get is to be who we are. And instead of talking so much or listening to what you're saying or who you're with, or have you noticed you get with someone and you start to talk like they talk, your life is going to look like theirs. Because when you speak it and you have intention behind it, like you believe it, or it's strong, or you accept, you think it's true, what happens is we're not speaking from our own divine, true, powerful, godlike self. We are speaking someone else's words and thoughts, because the mind is easily programmed by, and if you're not controlling your mind, somebody is. Because the mind is not in charge. It's a tool. So as above, so below. If you have a mind here, you have a spiritual mind, a divine mind, that is the absolute pure, holy, and precious, and loving, and sweet, and all that you are, talented, able, can do anything. And everybody thinks you have to live in this duality, dueling, fighting, back and forth, this or that, blah, 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 blah. So no, center, become quiet, listen, and communicate with yourself, your God self, without words. And then when you speak with intention and love and compassion. Let yourself be who you really are, regardless of what other people think or say. If you've got a problem with that, get my book. What you think of me is none of my business. But what I think about you is, and I see that you are a beautiful soul, spirit soul. And I'm wishing you ever increasing happiness, love, prosperity, joy of being, all that you are. Beginning right now. Be it. Do it. And you'll have it.